If you're a homeowner, you're probably sitting on a source of cash that most people don't even realize they have. It's not just the roof over your head, it's the value, the equity you've been building up year after year. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the tool that lets you tap into that hidden money, the home equity line of credit, or as most people call it, a HELOC. We'll get into how it works, its surprising history, and the really serious risks you have to know about. I know it sounds kind of crazy, right? But just think about it for a second. What if you could walk up to your house and get cash out of it whenever you needed to without actually having to sell it? It's a pretty powerful idea. And guess what? It's very, very real.
And the secret ingredient that makes this all possible is something called equity. It's just a fancy word for the part of your home that you actually own, the slice of the pie that doesn't belong to the bank anymore. It's the value you've paid for, and it's the key that unlocks everything we're about to talk about.
All right, so let's get right into it. What in the world is a HELOC really? It sounds all complicated and full of financial jargon, but I promise the core idea is way simpler than you think.
Okay, here's the official by-the-book definition. It's a revolving line of credit. Now, don't get this confused with a home equity loan. That's different. A loan just gives you one big chunk of cash all at once. A HELOC is way more flexible. You can draw from it as you need to, but, and this is the huge difference, it's secured by your actual house.
And honestly, this is the easiest way to wrap your head around it. Imagine you get a credit card, but instead of some arbitrary limit, your limit is based on the equity in your home. You can use it, pay it back, and use it again. It's that flexibility that's so attractive. But you can never, ever forget that it's all tied to your house. It's on the line.
Let's try another analogy, because this one really makes it click. Picture your house as a giant piggy bank that you've been putting money into with every single mortgage payment. Well, a HELOC is like the bank looking at it and saying, hey, we know there's a bunch of money in there. We'll let you borrow some cash, and you don't even have to smash the piggy bank to get it.
Okay, so if it's all about your equity, how do you even figure out how much you have? How does the bank decide what your credit limit is going to be? Well, the math here is actually super simple. Let's just walk through a quick real-world example.
First things first, we got to know what your home is worth on the market right now. A professional appraiser comes in and gives it a value. So let's say they come back and tell you it's worth a cool $700,000.
Okay, next, the lender looks at your mortgage statement. What do you still owe the bank? Let's say that number is $400,000. That's the bank's current stake in your property.
Then you just do the simple subtraction. $700,000 minus $400,000 gives you your equity, $300,000. Now here's the catch. The bank won't let you borrow all $300,000. Nope, they'll usually cap it at about 85% of your home's total value. So this big number determines your borrowing power, but it's not a blank check.
Now, this next part is so important to understand. A HELOC isn't just one continuous loan. It actually operates in two totally different phases, and the rules of the game change dramatically when you move from the first one to the second.
So phase one is called the draw period. This usually lasts about 5 to 10 years, and it's awesome. It works just like that credit card we talked about. You borrow money when you want, and your payments are usually really low because you're often only paying the interest. But then the music stops. You hit phase two, the repayment period. Suddenly, you can't borrow anymore, and you have to start paying back the money you borrowed, the principal, plus the interest. This is where people get into trouble with payment shock, because your monthly bill can suddenly shoot way, way up.
So where did these things even come from anyway? HELOCs weren't always around. Their explosion in popularity is actually tied directly to a single massive change in American law a few decades ago.
You have to go all the way back to 1986. The U.S. government passed the Tax Reform Act. Before this, you could deduct the interest you paid on pretty much any loan, your car, your credit cards, whatever. This new law got rid of almost all of those deductions, but it left one giant loophole: mortgage debt. All of a sudden, borrowing against your house was one of the only tax-friendly ways to get credit, and boom, just like that, the HELOC industry was born.
Okay, so we know what it is, how it works, and where it came from. Now we're at the most important part of this whole conversation. You have to understand that a HELOC is a double-edged sword. It can be an amazing tool, or it can be incredibly dangerous. So why do people get these things? Well, the really smart uses tend to be things that either improve your financial situation or build wealth, like a big home renovation that boosts your property value, or a really common one, paying off a mountain of high-interest credit card debt with this much cheaper single loan. It's about being strategic.
So let's just boil it all down. This is the whole ballgame right here. The biggest benefit of a HELOC is that the interest rate is usually way lower than a credit card or a personal loan. And why is that? Because the bank isn't taking a big risk. The loan is secured by your house. But that right there is also the single biggest risk. Your house is the collateral. If life happens, you lose your job, you get sick, and you can't make those payments, the bank can foreclose and take your home. The stakes literally could not be any higher.
Look, when it comes down to it, a HELOC turns your house from just a place to live into a really powerful financial asset. If you're smart and careful, it can help you get ahead, fund your dreams, and build real wealth. But if you're reckless with it, it puts the very roof over your head in jeopardy. So the question isn't just, can you get a HELOC? It's, are you truly ready for that kind of responsibility?